That's how you started.
Not again, because we're starting over?
Yes.
Oh, completely over?
Yes.
Oh. Hey, guys.
I need another cup of coffee. So a few days ago, we were talking to some friends, and they asked us how the rig is doing because they knew that in the beginning we had several breakdowns, and they wanted to know, how's it holding up now, and what are our thoughts, and has it changed because of everything we went through in the beginning, and that kind of prompted us to make this video so that we can be clear with everyone that in the beginning we had a lot of issues and what the issues were and exactly why the vehicle broke down 3 times and had to be towed.
So let's talk breakdowns. So our first fun experience was late January. Tamar was still working. He had a long weekend, so we thought we'd zip down to Quartzsite for a couple days. Wrong. Morning.
Morning.
That did not happen. So right outside of El Cajon, broke down. That was probably our best experience, and we didn't even know it at the time.
For sure.
Towing, like how amazing it was. I think we had a tow truck within a half an hour.
Mm-hmm.
Knew what he was doing. He was awesome. Got us to where we were going. It was just really good.
Yeah, so just to tell you a little bit more about what was going on, we had just gone over the crest of a hill and we're on the back side of it going down. And as soon as we started to descend, it was a pretty steep hill that we had gone up earlier. The vehicle just lost power. So I'm one of those guys. I have this cruise control and I love it and I use it, religiously when I'm driving. And I set it, the active brake assist. I use all of those things. So we've gone up the hill. We're coming over, and then I noticed that I'm starting to lose power, which doesn't typically happen. It usually maintains that speed, if anything, or speed up just slightly. But I'm losing power and I'm losing more power. To the point where I step on the gas when I realize it, but I didn't get any type of response from it. So I knew something was wrong. So I started to pull over to the right, and it was a perfect spot. I'll see if we can find a picture so I can show where we actually broke down at. There's no perfect time to break down, but this was the perfect spot on the highway if you're going to break down. Pulled over. Tried to restart the vehicle. It's had a rough start when we restarted it, and it was in limp home mode. Wouldn't go anywhere. So obviously we called. I think at the time we had just over 3,000 miles on the vehicle. So it's a brand new vehicle. So I thought Kelly was going to be more freaked out about the situation than anything else, because just before that we had a situation we were a rough situation.
I had a lot of stress going on anyway.
Well, that's true.
You talking about the Harvest House?
The Harvest House, yeah. So we had a rough situation before that, and then when that happened and the vehicle broke down, I'm thinking she is going to freak out. This is not going to be good. Believe it or not, she handled the situation better than I did. And what made the situation even better is that within half hour, 45 minutes, the tow truck was there, and the guy knew exactly what he needed to do. I'm gonna see if I can find a picture of him as well and put him on there. Give a shout out to his tow, because he owned the tow truck company. He did awesome. So he picked us up and towed us to the dealership. Now we didn't get videos of that tow, but that's only because we were actually riding in the vehicle with the tow truck guy. On the rig was on the back of the tow truck.
So it could have been that scary too. We just don't know, but
yeah.
But the way he put it up compared to our other experiences, he was a pro. He was. There was no questioning. Like, he wasn't questioning himself. He knew what he was doing.
And we actually learned a lot from him on that tow.
Which helped us.
Yeah, which helped us because he put some 4x4s underneath the back wheels when he was lifting up, and he explained the reason why he was doing it. And he explained that if he didn't do it, that it would scrape the bottom and potentially damage stuff as he was pulling it up. So
Mm-hmm.
bottom line, great guy, great experience, and I'm gonna give him a shout out when I find his picture and his company in the description as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Well, so you want to tell him about what happened when we get to the dealership?
I think it was a Saturday, so we
Mm-hmm.
service center was not open, so we got to park it there, and us. Well, and we don't you don't budget for hotel stays, so we tried to stay in the RV as long as we
Cheap.
could. We're cheap. If you haven't found out yet, we're very cheap. So we're like, no, we'll just, can you guys just park it outside the gate so we can stay in it? So they gave us a nice Mercedes, like one of the small SUV ones.
Mm-hmm.
It was nice. So we had that, and then they let us park the RV. So they moved. So I forgot about that.
Yeah.
The RV's moving a little bit. So let's just go outside the gate, outside the parking lot, and park along the street.
Because we did not want to be inside the dealership, locked in the RV, and God forbid somebody sees someone in there and says someone is in there doing something. We're like, you know what? Let's just drive on the outside, right on the street. It's not a major street that's passing there beside the train that pass every 10 minutes and making noise.
Well, we didn't know that yet.
We didn't know that yet either. So we drove outside. Go ahead and finish.
So right in front of us is a train track. And on the first day, it wasn't bad, I think, because it was a Saturday. But I think it was the whole time. But it was like a city one. So it was like, every 10 minutes, every 20 minutes, it was stopping, ringing its bell. Every 20 minutes until I think like 10 or 11 at night, and then right at 6 again in the morning. Mm-hmm. So we had that, and then we didn't use our stabilizers.
We couldn't.
So we're like this, kind of on the hill, like.
Because we didn't want to start it because the engine still had that really rough start. And I didn't know if I was going to damage something, so I decided not to do it. So the vehicle was sitting on a slope pretty much the whole time.
With a slide in.
And the slide couldn't go out because we didn't want to do that. So
yeah, so
all
we
in
did
the
that
name of being cheap.
Yeah, we did that for 4 days?
4 days.
Until they got the part.
Mm-hmm.
And once they got the part, I think we stayed 1 or 2 days in the hotel.
In a hotel.
Because it ended up being about a week, I think, right?
Yeah, to fix it. So that happened, like I said, I think on that Friday. And by the next Friday or Saturday, we had the vehicle back.
We were back, yeah.
All right, so let's go to number
2. And that was, coming back from Palm Springs.
Yeah.
So the first one, too, it wasn't fun. It stunk. But we had TJ with us, so we really didn't have anywhere to be. We didn't have to, everything was fine. This time, Tamara and I took a little weekend getaway to Palm Springs. We took the RV. TJ was with a babysitter back in San Diego, and it breaks down on the way home. Again, luckily, it broke down on a nice spot because we were pulled off, because after that, there was construction for miles where there's no shoulder. So. And then we had a friend come save us, took me to go get...
Shout out to Curtis.
Yeah, he came and picked me up and left. We left Tamar there on the side of the road, camped out in his chair. We have
for 11 hours.
Yeah. So
11 hours.
We didn't have money for 11-hour extra babysitter either, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So we just wanted TJ back anyway. So our friend took me to go pick up TJ and got our Jeep, and then we drove back to Tamar and hung out there for hours, and then they were professional. The tow truck. I don't think ever experienced picking up a Class C on their rig. I don't know. Wait, did they send a different one first?
So let me tell you that part first.
I wasn't there, yeah.
So the first tow truck that they sent was way too small. He was trying to put it on his tow truck, and I'm like, the RV is about the same size as your tow truck. This is just not gonna work. So he got a little ways up, and then he blew the airbags on his truck. I told you not to do it. So he ended up leaving with the bed of his tow truck pretty much hanging off the back, and he put that little red tape on the back of it because it wouldn't go back up. He broke his truck. So the other,
Oh, I missed
yeah,
all that.
yeah. So the other truck that showed up again hours later, he was able to get it up, and we did get a video of this one, and this one is pretty interesting because there had to have been at least 5 or 6 times when we thought the rig would have been totaled because both the rig and the tow truck was going to flip over. I don't know how he did it. We weren't riding in that one.
I couldn't watch.
Yeah,
I
we
had to
were
turn around and look at TJ. I couldn't do it.
every.
I'm,
Yeah,
I'm like, our whole life is in there. I mean, not, we were safe, but
yeah,
just watching that, I'm like, everything we own is about to just roll over and be done. So
yeah. So what happened when that breakdown? We just gotten off the, I think it was the 10, when the vehicle again lost power, went into limp home mode. And let me go back to something from the first breakdown. When the vehicle broke down the first time, I had asked for a printout of the actual the work that was done by the technician, and at the end of it, I saw the comments that the technician made, and I knew that nothing had been done. The issue had just resolved itself, and I always felt like the vehicle was going to break down again. So when the vehicle broke down coming out of Palm Springs, none of us were surprised. We didn't want it because TJ was at a sitter, but we were like, okay, we were expecting this to happen. We were very fearful driving it. But again, they did not fix the issue that the first dealership identified.
number 3. So we were there. Oh, and again, we were being cheap, and we would pull right into the bay because we could move a little bit and it was flat. And like I said, us being cheap, we didn't want to get a hotel room if we didn't have to. Again, our friends helped us out and let us stay one night with them. So we got some pizza and relaxed.
Curtis and Sandra.
Yeah, so they helped us, and then I think it was only one other night, but we stayed at the dealership. So we pulled into the bay, put our slide. Did we put our slide out?
We would.
We did put our slide out. We were right in their bay.
And it was flat, so we didn't need to do anything.
Yep. So we did that for 1 or 2 nights after that. I don't recall, but we stayed there, and then daytime we just pull out or leave it there for them, and then we would just hang out in the Jeep all day. So, but that was back and forth with the manager, like trying to get him to, hey, you guys are supposed to be doing this. So that was fun. Okay, so number 3. So as we're sitting there, because they said, hey, they figured out what was wrong with the vehicle, they fixed it. We didn't see them do a drive around. So the first time I think we actually saw them driving it was to tell us it's done, to give it back to us. So we're like, all right. So we're driving down our merry little way. Not even 8 miles down the road, it breaks down again. 8 miles down the road.
8 miles after they said they fixed it, gave us all the paperwork, we closed out the ticket and everything else, and we told them that the first dealership said this was the problem. They insisted that they are the number one dealership.
Oh yeah.
And that they know better, and they did not do what the first dealership said. They said it was something else, and they did what they thought it was. Well, by the way, it broke down on them too when they were doing the test drive.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then they gave it to us after they supposed to fix it
Again.
and then it broke down on us 8 miles down the road. And how long did we have to wait to get someone to pick us up?
That was a good 10 hours at least again.
8 miles down the road, we had to wait about 10 hours.
And I picked a good spot to break down again because we could turn right into one of the national cemeteries.
Yeah.
So we were off the main road, got to make some lunch there. TJ and I went for a walk through the cemetery. But yeah, we're like, seriously, 10 hours again because we couldn't get the right vehicle. And I think it was like
It was Sunday.
it was a Sunday, so it was even harder to get somebody to come help us.
Needless to say, number 3, I was very pissed, to
Can you say that?
in the best way. What's that?
You said it with a smile, so it's okay.
I was pissed. All right.
So 10 hours later, we got picked up again for the third time with a tow truck and went back to the dealership. And then
They pretty much said, they're going to look into it again. So obviously, you know, even though we live in the vehicle, at the time I was still working, so I still had to go to work. So we went back to San Diego. We got a hotel. We stayed in the hotel,
For
the
about
same hotel that we lived in for about 4 months while we were waiting for the rig to be built. I swear they thought we were residents there. So we went back to the hotel. We waited for it. And I insisted this time that I am not taking the vehicle back under any circumstance until the problem that the first dealership, El Cajon Mercedes-Benz, that identified as being the problem, that was fixed. Well, what do you know? When they finally called us to say the vehicle was ready, and I asked them what was the problem and what they fixed, what did they fix?
the problem
The main wiring
from
harness.
number one,
That was the
First
problem
breakdown.
all along. The engineers when they were first at El Cajon had said that was a problem, and this time they said they had to call back in. Now I will say that they said that this issue is a unique issue, and it's not something they see often. But when it happened to us 3 times, that wasn't very unique. We felt like we had a lemon. That's how we felt in the beginning. Clearly, we love our rig. Unlike in the beginning when we felt like this vehicle was about to break down any minute now. Hopefully, I'm not talking.
I know.
I don't think we feel that way anymore.
No, and even when we had those issues, that wasn't fun. But we still we're like, what would we get if we decided, you know what? There's too many issues. We could not come up with anything else that we would want, because we absolutely love our rig. It's everything we wanted. So that was a tough one too. We're like, we have our issues with it, and now it has been great. So hopefully it stays that way.
Yeah, so hopefully you guys found this video interesting. Hopefully you don't go through any of the issues that we did, but if for some reason you find yourself in a breakdown, just always remember, be prepared for a lengthy wait. Hopefully you're still on the warranty. Don't
and have some money aside for hotel stays.
Yeah, especially if you're a full-timer.
Well, yeah.
They don't reimburse that, by the way, so that's something that's going to come out of your pocket.
Yep. Yeah.
And remember, there's a Mercedes-Benz SOS button up top.
That
Call
helps
them.
you.
That helps.
Helps you find
Yeah.
location.
We didn't have Good Sam or anyone else. Well, actually, we had CoachNet, but we didn't use CoachNet because we're still on a warranty. But we didn't have to pay for any of the towing. We just had to pay for our lodging. Yeah. Anyway, that's it.
Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you found this interesting. Hope it doesn't happen to you. But obviously, being in an RV, stuff happens. I mean, you just mentally, okay? It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when.
Absolutely. It's a matter of when. So be prepared. And I'd be remiss if I didn't mention, don't forget to like and subscribe. And thank you to everyone who's subscribed and who's been following us on our Instagram or Facebook and here on YouTube. Peace. Safe travels.
Don't forget to like and subscribe and comment down below.